Hey everyone, welcome into the Marvelous Marvel Discussion Arena, where we are talking in this video about Echo Season 1, our impressions. And before we move on, just want to let you know there's going to be spoilers throughout this video pertaining to Season 1, so all 5 episodes of Echo over on Disney+. So if you have not watched all the episodes yet, please go to Disney Plus and check them out, and then come back and enjoy this impressions and our short review, spoiler review, of course, of Echo Season 1. So I'm your host, X-Bat, along with my co-host, Burley, and Fubu. So welcome in, and let's go ahead and get started, guys. So Maya Lopez. Yeah, it's really interesting how the first episode is basically a flashback episode. You know, it's like basically Hawkeye. You know, the final few episodes of Hawkeye all condensed together with all of the flashbacks of and the situation with how she left her native Oklahoma, and how her father came to, work under the tutelage of Kingpin, being the head of the tracksuit mafia and all, and how that all came out to play, and how Hawkeye as Ronin, came into the mix, and then how she became what she became. So, how did you feel about the beginning of the show? So, Fubu, I'll start with you first. What do you think?
First of all, I'm gonna be honest. Echo is not something that I was like, oh, I need to see it. But because we are doing this, I decided to see it. It was only 5 episodes. It was like a flashback, like you mentioned. The first episode has one of the highlights of the season, which was Daredevil. We finally had Daredevil that we love from the Netflix series. He was, this scene, this image right here, this was the most Daredevil, like the jump that he goes like that was beautiful. The way that she's trying to grab a weapon and he's just punching the weapons away because he doesn't like weapons, and of course the sound will interfere with this sonar ability. The choreography was beautiful when Maya is going to kick him and she grabs the leg, and that little movement makes Daredevil loses his sense because he was expecting the kick. Then she just kicks him. The fighting choreography, it was really good. They got some new bits, and then they complemented with flashbacks from the Hawkeye series until the end, where she shoots Kingpin, and we all assume that he might be dead, and then it continues a little bit until she arrives at Oklahoma.
What's interesting, I'm just going to say, what's interesting here is the choreography and the fight between, her and Daredevil were awesome. And I was expecting not to see too much of Charlie Cox in this series, only maybe an episode or so. And of course, just that first episode, that fight scene, is all we got of him. But it's interesting because in the comics, they actually become intimate. Echo and Daredevil. So I'm wondering if Alaqua Cox is going to come back in some maybe small role in Daredevil Born Again. What are your thoughts, Burley? Do you think we'll see Echo in the Daredevil series?
I don't think we'll see her in the Daredevil series because they've already set the whole thing with the relationship with She-Hulk. So I think trying to bring her in there when you're already, I'm sure they're going to bring She-Hulk back into that. It'd be too much. But who knows? Like, it was nice to see Daredevil and the intro. Yeah, it's nice that they did the flashback and giving you her whole backstory. And I will say it was paced very well with that, giving you the old and the new and picking up where the end of Hawkeye left off in like 2.5 years now, almost. I think it's been.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I love how tech savvy she is as well. I mean, the scene where she's going onto the train and then she gives that tracking device and all, and she's got it. You see in this image here, the little red thing there on her on her shoulder there is like the tracking device thing. That was pretty cool. So, but yeah, the fight choreography scenes in this series were really cool, especially the fight scenes like in the the roller skating rink and all, where she just whoops all those guys. I mean, yeah, I thought that was really cool. But the only thing, my pet peeve about it was, I mean, the tracksuit mafia guys, man, what a bunch of bumbling idiots, man. I mean, it's like they should have just killed them all. I mean, they should have just they took out the one guy, the informant, who was, a little prick, wanting his payback, he's from giving him the information and all, but they kill him, but then they don't kill all the others when they just could have just boom, 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 wiped them all out. End of story, end of episode, end of series, but no, that doesn't happen. And the one guy that later on in the series at the end, he's got the RPG, I mean, just, yeah, that I thought that was, when it came to the writing, I thought that was pretty bad. But other than that, the fight choreography in this series was really, really cool. The Daredevil and this scene here in the image. Your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, like fighting we already mentioned. I mentioned before. Another thing that I think it's a very, very, very big positive is you have the actors around the main character. They need to be extra because she does the sign language. Maya Lopez, she talks with hand gestures, and she can't talk that much. But so that for me makes the side characters around her, they need to do extra because they are the voice of the character in those scenes. They have to do the hand gestures. They have to talk. They have to express themselves. I just want to say that. How do you say the name? Alicia Cox. That's how you say it.
Alaqua Cox.
Alaqua. Sorry.
Yeah.
Alaqua Cox. She did an amazing job, but she has problems. There's a certain. Now I can't figure out the name, but the main character, she tried her best. She did a great job, but the scene had to be carried by the side characters, and I really have to point that out because all the side characters around her, from her grandmother, her uncle, Biscuits, everyone around her, they did a phenomenal job of carrying the scenes with her to compensate what she can't give to the scene. Yeah,
well, because I mean, in real life, Alaqua Cox is deaf, and obviously she is an amputee, or I think she was born in that situation, but with the artificial leg. But I mean, this series was all about family, and I really love how they focus on the Native Americans in this, and how the Choctaw Nation gave them the rights to be able to come in and to be able to showcase their culture and all, and then how she is able to realize her true powers from the passing down the echoes from the past, the echoes of those that came before her and all, and how that was the culmination at the very end of the season in the final episode, where she has to confront Kingpin, and she takes control of his mind and makes him see his childhood again, whereas earlier in the season, I think it was a couple episodes or an episode before, that he handed her the actual hammer that he killed his father with and said, okay, you can kill me, but she wouldn't do it, and then she manipulates his mind here in this scene to go back to that moment just before he kills his father. I thought that was pretty powerful, and it really freaked out Kingpin, that's for sure, because he just bolted on out of there after that. So what were you guys' thoughts on this scene? Burley?
Okay. I do like all the stuff they did with the tribe and all that, and getting all that. That was great. And all the sign language they did throughout the whole show and all that was really cool. Really good job. This changing her power set, I knew they were going to change it, because her power set in the comics is she's like Taskmaster.
Right.
She can mimic what people's fighting style and all that.
Exactly.
So I get it. I know they were going to change the power, but this here, like, I get it for the show, but it's just at the same time is like her showing them the stuff I'm not as mad at, but her resurrecting her ancestors and putting it into her grandmother that's like 78 years old, that is having trouble moving in some of the scenes, just walking. Is able to walk around, do all this badass shit. I'm like, okay, my suspension of disbelief can only be stretched so far. That was
it's Marvel, Burley. Yeah, it's Marvel.
Yeah, this current version of Marvel, and I've had my complaints already on that. But yeah.
But I mean, let's move on from from Echo to Kingpin. I mean, just another masterful performance by Kingpin. Yes, I mean, just Vincent D'Onofrio, man. I mean, he's just the master of villainry when it comes to Marvel right now. I mean, and that in the what is it, the scene during the credits where he's in the plane and then he sees that there's problems when it comes to the mayor, and there's going to be a mayor's race coming up, and anybody could jump into the race. That's setting up the Daredevil series, because he's going to probably become the mayor of New York City somehow, and Daredevil's going to have to stop him. But just in this series, though, let's focus on him here. I mean, masterful performance again, and trying to manipulate Maya into coming back and becoming the Queen Pin. And then at the end of the series, knowing that he has to make a last ditch effort, he comes to Oklahoma. And you knew when the grandmother is going into the post office for her job, the person that's going to be waiting for her there is Kingpin, because that he's going to probably take her and some of her other family members hostage to get what he wants. So what were your thoughts overall on Vincent D'Onofrio's performance in this series? Fubu?
Some actors are born to play a character, and Vincent D'Onofrio was born to play Kingpin. There's a scene, because I was like at the end of episode 2, like when Kingpin shows up, you see how huge he is. He's like almost bigger than the house. I was like, whoa, is he like this tall, or doing some type of CGI?
No, he's tall like that in real life. He's a big big man. Yeah. So
and the gravitas he gives to the character, like the way that he speaks, and like it's calm, but it's terrifying at the same time. Like, I respect this man.
It's Full Metal Jacket, man. Full Metal Jacket. Yeah. Oh, and good old Pyle. I'll never forget that scene. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good movie, actually.
Yeah.
But and what he does, like he is this character, like Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark, Vincent D'Onofrio is Kingpin, and the best thing they did was bring him back to be this character. Charlie Cox to be Daredevil, and also Foggy and the girl. It's going to be the same actors from Netflix. They're all coming back, and it's going to be a big old party when Daredevil Born Again starts streaming. It's going to be such a fun thing to have this man on screen. I'm not going to say every week, but most weeks having him on screen is going to be amazing. It's someone doing what they do best.
Burley, your thoughts? Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, he Vincent D'Onofrio, born to play the role. He does another great job. He is, I'm gonna say it, he was the best actor in the whole show, and that's not a disservice on the other actors and actresses. But it was great to see him be Kingpin one more time.
Just like that scene when like they're at the dinner table in New York City, and then it's like he doesn't need the sign language woman anymore, and so he has the guy like take her into the hallway there, and they've already got all the plastic up on the walls to blast her and blow her brains out. You know, it's like, why?
That was.
And it's like, what did she do? I mean, she was helping him with the sign language, and I guess obviously I don't need her anymore. So, and what was cool was, I mean, the tech that was used in this episode probably it is being used for people with sign language now with contact lenses, and to be able to, you know, when you're using your voice, the people that are wearing the contacts that, of course, cannot hear, they can see those hand gestures. You know, the kind of like the augmented reality hand gestures. That was really cool in this series. So yeah, but man, good stuff. All right, before we wrap it up, I just want to get back to Echo's character arc here. Now, I mean, it seems like they're portraying her now as a villain turned good. Kind of like how in the Loki series, you know, Tom Hiddleston's character of Loki goes from being a villain to a hero, you know, and being good. So what did you guys think of this? I mean, at the end of this series, I mean, the getting back together and making amends with her family and being in Oklahoma with them. And at the end there, you know, it seems like she's kind of made a turn from being a villain into a good character. Your guys' thoughts? Fubu?
Okay, I'll go. Well, I think the turn was a bit of a hurry, and I'll explain. From the research that I did, this was supposed to be, I think it was 8 or 9 episodes. Then it was reduced to 6, and then at the last minute it became 5. So I think she was set on her ways. She arrives at Oklahoma. The first thing, like, she's trying to, well, in my opinion, get some vengeance. That's why she goes to the train, sabotages the train, and so on. She's being selfish, and in between there was something lost in translation that didn't come to us, the viewer, where she focused more on family. I don't think she's going to be like a hero per se. I think she's going to be like more of an anti-hero. She's going to do things her way. That might end up making her, let's say if she goes back to New York, because I think they might do that, because I think she was, at one point she was one of the defenders, and like you said, she was involved intimately with the Daredevil. So we assume she goes back to New York, and she's going to do things her way, and sometimes her way is the right way, and she's going to join with the good guys, and sometimes it's going to be the wrong way, and the good guys will have to stop her. She's going to be an ambiguous character, not good, but not bad. Think
that
of
could, yeah, that could be. But I think the scene when she had the flashback of when she took the slingshot and hit the bird and almost killed the bird, and then her mother was talking to her about, you know, we must not harm living things and all, and teaching her about her powers and all. I think that really resonated with her towards the end, because like when she was sensing the danger, that bird was always close to her. You know, when she was in the diner eating and then the bird was out there and then it started to fly away, then she knew that something was wrong, right? So I think in that sense, I think she has become a good character from now. But we shall see. I mean, if she goes back to New York, we shall see what happens with that. But Burley, your thoughts?
I think she'll be she'll be a good character on the good guy side, but like I don't see where they're going to reuse this character with what we know of where Marvel is going.
Yeah.
You're going to bring this into into Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. I really
No.
kind of I doubt it, because you've got
No.
enough characters you're going to put your attention and focus. Like,
It's more street level Marvel, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, this is more street level Marvel. But like,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask this question to you both here. Did this show need to be made? Because to me, I feel this I liked moments of it, but the writing and stuff were really, really sloppy and all that. Like when she gets taken hostage in episode 2 in Roller Rink, why wouldn't you take her freaking prosthetic leg? That is just stuff like that. It's like you're trying to get this high bounty. You need her alive. You take the leg away from her so she can't run away as easily and all that. It's just like the writing on this was kind of sloppy, uneven in times.
Did you see? Did you see the shot against Trump in the episode? In the skating rink, they had some banner there, "Make skating great again" or something like that.
Oh yeah, you knew they were going to do that.
Well, because Oklahoma is it is a very, very red state, so
yeah. You knew they're going to do stuff like this, but like the show, in my opinion, didn't need to be made. Yeah, it was nice to see Kingpin again, and with some of the stuff we got, but you could easily do that in Daredevil, have him go to where he's going to go for that and follow up. Yeah. Like some of this native stuff was cool and all that, but it's like, is this ever going to be brought up and used again? I don't think so.
Well, I think as a one-off show, I think it was, it didn't, obviously, I don't think anything needs to ever be made. I mean, it's just that they wanted to make it for the entertainment value. And I think as a one-off, I don't think there will be a season 2. But I could see her character in a street level Marvel situation pop up again. Whether it's in Daredevil, Born Again, or in another series, maybe a Hawkeye season 2 or something like that. But like with Kate Bishop or something like that, who knows? But I mean, I'm glad they made it, and I'm glad that the representation of the Choctaw Nation, which is interesting because Alaqua Cox is from she's Mohican, so she's from a different tribe. But the actress who played her cousin in this series, she is the voice of Gohori in the What If season 2 series. So the Choctaw Nation and Graham Greene, I have to give a shout out to Graham Greene. He was awesome as the pawn shop owner, working on stuff. He's kind of like the low level Tony Stark, coming up with the new prosthetic leg for her and and all that stuff. And I can fix anything, that was pretty cool. And, how he was in the series too. So, and just how they showed, the kind of like the foundation of the Choctaw people and all in this image, and, how everything started and all, and how Maya gets her powers and all. That's pretty cool. Pretty interesting stuff. So all in all, I thought it was a decent series. I mean, I wouldn't put it up there with the greatest shows, but when it comes to Marvel, the Marvel series and all, but it was a good chance to see this character grow. Final thoughts, guys?
There's not that many final thoughts in my opinion. I think it's done and dusted. If they want to use her again in Daredevil, I think there's an open door for that. They can do that. Yeah. But if I don't see a second season, like it wasn't memorable, I think it was I'm sure this was the first series where they released everything all at once, Netflix style. They haven't done this. That shows how much
viewer discretion advised. Like at the beginning of every episode, I thought that was great. Because if this is going to be a Netflix style Marvel series, then you better put that at the beginning. Especially on Disney Plus and you know.
And
And
yeah,
Hulu.
releasing all at once, in my opinion, considering how they've been doing everything with all the other series, releasing everything at once, they didn't believe that much in the series. They just said, oh, maybe we have some extra money, let's do the series or whatever. So there won't be a second season.
Burley, no
like-
second season. Agree?
Oh, there ain't gonna be a second season. They, like Fubu said, they hedged their bets. They knew this was not gonna. This isn't gonna drive people and drive the Disney Plus. Disney Plus is hurting right now. Disney itself is hurting, and Marvel's hurting. So yeah, this show has some really good high moments.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of low and a lot of bad writing. I can say the best I can give this is average.
I could see her show up again, say in, I don't think there's going to be a season 2, but maybe Moon Knight is a possibility for her to show up. But yeah,
maybe Moon Knight or some other street level show,
right?
Or if they have a street team up of, I don't know, special powered people.
Yeah.
I don't know what they would call it or whatever, but you know what I mean. Like that, I can see Echo returning, but Echo ain't making a film debut unless it's here's Echo. Oh no, Echo was killed by Kang. We need to stop Kang, kind of thing.
No,
I'm just saying that because they're not gonna have Echo beat Kang, or anything like that.
Or if there's some Infinity Stone that we never heard about that's like laying underneath the ground in Oklahoma or something. It's like then maybe we would see Echo again. But so all right, so that's been our impressions and our review of Echo season 1. So let us know in the comments what you thought of the series. So we'd really like to hear from you. And we're looking forward to bringing you more Marvel content this year on the Marvelous Marvel Discussion Arena. I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley and Fubu. So take care, everyone, and enjoy all of your Marvel content. So take care, everyone. Peace out.
Hail Hydra.